What I want to talk to you today is how I define financial freedom. And I believe that financial freedom is the ability to do what you want to do without regard to the cost. And there's several parameters in there, and that is to do what you want to do, because that's really the first place people need to go. They want to make sure that they know what they want and they know what it looks like. And most people do not create the security that they want to feel in their lives, and they're afraid that they're not going to have enough money. They're afraid that they're going to run out of money. They're afraid that they won't be able to pay their rent, or they won't be able to pay their mortgage. And they don't feel in control of the money that they do have. And what I like to advocate for is that you always have a choice. And if you keep your focus on what you want to accomplish, which is financial freedom, you're going to ask yourself a question. You're going to say, does this take me closer to my goal, or does it not take me closer to my goal? And that is what you have to measure in order to determine what it is that you want. Now, we'll pick on Bob momentarily. Less than 2% of the women-owned businesses in this country gross more than over $1 million. And 88% are less than $100,000 a year. And of that 88%, 50% is under 50,000. And those are numbers that I do not think should exist in this world, and I want to see people do better. I've been a CPA since 1981, and I have worked with literally thousands of small businesses. I've done training and education. I've worked for the government. I spent a few years doing criminal prosecution for tax fraud and tax evasion, which I did not love. I did not enjoy. And the last 10 years, I've been working with small business owners, helping them make and keep more money. And I'm very blessed to be able to say at this point that I love what I do and that it makes a difference in people's lives. And that's my mission. That's my passion, is to see small business owners succeed at making a difference in the world, because that business success is measured in money. It breaks my heart to see small business owners who would make more flipping hamburgers at McDonald's than they make out of their small business. And so we work virtually with clients all over the country: California, New York, Florida, Texas, all over. And I really want to see small businesses succeed. Now, my definition of a small business is not the same as the federal government's definition of a small business. The businesses that we help are 1 or 2 people firms. They've got to maybe have a few employees, definitely have a team that they work with. And it is so sad to me to have people say to me that I'm not ready for an accountant. And what I know is, if you are in business for yourself or want to make a business for yourself, then you need an accountant. You need a financial advisor. And the time to get that financial advisor is before you've spent your retirement. Okay? You want to get that financial advisor. You want to get a good, solid financial plan in place so that you know that you can cover the expenses and you can cover your personal expenses. And the formula that we're going to talk about today frees you to follow up and do exactly what you want. And that's financial freedom. We're going to talk about having a profitable business that pays you first, what to do with money that's coming in. even when you feel broke, okay? How to confidently make financial decisions without fear, and how to pay the least in taxes and not overpay. The first steps to creating financial freedom is to stop worrying about the IRS, stop worrying about running out of money, stop being scared to make investments. Money is one of the greatest stressors that people wake up in the middle of the night worrying about. And a lot of people are running their lives by checking their bank balance on a daily basis. And that is not a good strategy, okay? So I want you to take away from this a strategy that will help you be financially free and move in that direction. The problem that most small businesses have is that they do not have a plan that will generate the revenue that they need to generate in order to have the life that they dreamed of. And if you just randomly choose a number out of the air that says, I want to make $100,000 a year, you're not going to probably be very successful doing that. If you have a plan that says, I want to work with this many clients, I want them to pay this much money, and this is how my life is going to be, then you have a strategy that you can work on. You'll know if you can do a program, you'll be stress-free, you'll be able to have something to show for your work and your time because you're getting paid. You need to get paid, period. End of sentence. My personal opinion is you need to set 10% of every dollar that comes in into a wealth account. And you need to watch it grow and see it grow and invest it in the future of where you want to go. Now, if 10% is too much, make it 5%. And if 5% is too much, make it 1%. But every dollar that comes in, you need to set an intention and you need to set it aside into a savings account so that you can see that you have something that is the result of where you have come from in your life and in your business. I have used this formula for 40 years, and what I see is people get their credit cards paid off. They don't worry about their money. They have confidence that they have a plan on how to get where they want to go. And the biggest thing that I hear from my clients is that they are relieved. They are relieved and they have confidence that they can move forward and really make happen what they want to have happen. Now, there's 6 basic steps. And the first is that you need to create a life that you really love, setting your goals. What do you want to have in your life? Now, these goals need to be what we call SMART goals. They need to be specific, they need to be measurable, they need to be achievable, realistic, and time-bound. And you need them for your entire life, your business and your personal and your health and your legacy. You need all-encompassing vision of how you want your life to be. One of the most useful things that I always have my clients do is sit down and write a description of an ideal day. What is a perfect day? What is a perfect week? What happens? What time do you get up in the morning? What do you drink? What do you eat? Who do you talk to? Who do you spend your time with? How does your ideal day chart out? Now, my ideal day has 3 client appointments on it because I can talk to them for 45 minutes to an hour, and I love talking to my clients, and I love helping them see opportunities for where they can go. And so my ideal day involves a lot of talking on Zoom and a lot of talking on the phone. And it wasn't always that way, but it pretty much fills up my day now. And I can say that I love what I do. And if you have a clear order for the universe, for spirit, on what you actually want, then it's going to get set up in order for you to achieve it. But you have to set that vision first. You have to know. Now, we are talking about money. And money isn't the most important thing, but money touches everything you do. Every piece of the vision that you have has a financial component. If you want to drive a Tesla, you need to know how much a Tesla costs. You need to find out how it is going to be to operate it and how much it's going to cost you. So the first step is really creating a clear vision of what you want and how you want things to look. And you want to be careful what you ask for, because sometimes you get something and it doesn't look the way you expected it to look. But when you look in retrospect, it actually was exactly what you asked for. Now, the second step is bookkeeping. And we're not just talking about bookkeeping for the sake of bookkeeping. The purpose of your bookkeeping is to provide you with reports that tell you how you're doing on the plan you forecasted in step one, okay? And you need to take stock of where you are financially. I generally recommend once a week to start off with. So every Monday, sit down, look at what's coming in, look at what's going out, look at what you have in the bank, pay the bills you need to pay, and then not think about it for the rest of the week. Think about making money and how you can expand your vision and your business. Too many people spend hours and hours doing their bookkeeping. It's not a good use of an entrepreneur's time. Your time is your most valuable asset, and you need to have someone on your team to help you with your bookkeeping. And the sooner you get set up on a good bookkeeping system, the sooner you will be able to track and see results. Now, personal expenses, I do not like the word budget, because too many people say, well, I get $1,000 a month and I spend it on this, this, and this, and I have this much left over, and that's where I am. When we look at personal expenses, I want you to include those things from step one that you want to include in your life. So if you want a trip to Italy, how much does a trip to Italy cost? How much do you need to set aside for that trip? Start a savings account. If you want to go to Starbucks every day, then you want to forecast in those personal expenses that you want to have and you plan to have, not just the personal expenses that you have today, but where you want to be. You want to plan for where you're going, not plan for where you are, because where you're going is far more important. Business expenses, again, when you look at business expenses, you can look historically at your bookkeeping and you can see where your money went and what happened to your money. People ask me all the time, if I made $10,000, where is it? Where did it go? Because the odds are it isn't in your bank account. And if you have bookkeeping and you have record keeping, then you can look at your expenses and you will know where that money has gone, because you have made a conscious choice on where to spend that money. If you want to add an employee, if you want to add marketing, all of those things you want to add, you have to generate revenue to cover. And so you want your business expenses, again, to be planned for where you're going, not for where you are today, but for where you are going. Now, the big thing I think for most people is to really shift into forecasting instead of budgeting. Forecasting, it is important to know if you got a $10,000 check today, do you know what to do with that money? Do you know where to put it? Do you know how to best utilize it? We already know that 10% of it is going into an investment account, a savings account, and you're not going to touch it. But you're going to have business expenses, you're going to have personal expenses, you're going to have taxes, and you're going to have savings. And you've got to have a plan for what to do with that $10,000 check besides go shopping, okay? And not letting it burn a hole in your pocket. And so when you understand your personal and your business and your taxes, then you know what to do with a $10,000 check when it comes in today. And you have to have a receptacle. If you're going to pour water, you have to have a glass to pour it into. If you're going to generate money, then you need a structure to pour it into. And you want to make sure that you're not overflowing the cup, and you want to make sure that you have a cup that is a big enough size. I don't know that that really makes sense to you, but what you need always is a plan and an intention of what you want to do, so that when you think about making money, you think about it from the opportunities that you're going to get from it and not focusing on the bills. It is far easier to increase income than it is to reduce expenses. And I'm not saying that I want you to overspend. What I'm saying is it's very difficult to cut enough expenses to make a significant difference. What you can do is you can take steps every day to move into being financially secure and profitable. And that is the real key to all of this, to create a clear revenue plan that supports your forecast. If you forecast that you need $10,000 a month because of your personal, your business, your taxes, and your savings, then the question is, how are you going to make $10,000 a month? How many clients is that? What do you want to do? We're back to that ideal day again, okay? I want to talk to 3 clients a day, and if I talk to 3 clients a day on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that is 9 clients a week, and I want to meet with people on a quarterly or a monthly basis, and this is how it's going to look when I have what I intend to set out. You'll know what to do with the money. You'll know what to do with the expenses that you have to pay, and it's not, you operate with an intention and with a plan. And this financial success plan is the most important document that you're going to write, because you can equally, there's a little hamburger place in Sioux City called Billy Boy's Drive-In, and Billy Boy's sells these little hamburgers that you used to be able to go in and get a dozen for $5, okay? When I started going to Billy Boy's, there's something that's infectious about them. I like them. I know that there is nothing good quality about them, but Billy Boy's has been in business as long as I've been alive, okay? They've been in business 60 years. And Ruth Chris Steakhouse has been in business for a lot of years. They're very different. You can get a hamburger at both places, but they are not the same thing. So you've got to make a decision about who you want to be in the world. There's nothing wrong with Billy Boy's Drive-In because they have made a profitable business and they have stayed in business over the last 60 years. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Ruth Chris Steakhouse, they cater to a totally different audience. It's a totally different experience to eat there. But you've got to decide when you go back to that ideal day, that ideal scenario, what does it look like? How do you spend your time? And you've got to create a revenue plan that supports your forecast. And I will tell you that the most common thing I hear when I sit down with a client to do this is that it makes it real. If I need to work with 10 people at $1,000 a month, you say, okay, I can work with 10 people. I can find 10 people to work with. It's not as difficult as it is to say, I want to make $120,000 a year. Now, I don't know about you, but if you say I want to make $120,000 a year, it's a little hard to get my head around it. And it's a little hard to really see how that would work. If I have a plan that says I'm going to work with 10 people a month for $1,000 a month, and I am going to meet with them twice a month, and I'm going to meet with them for an hour, and they're going to have email access to me, you see how you've laid out what you're going to offer, and you've laid out how it's going to generate the revenue that you want to generate. And that number is different for everyone. It's different in every business. It is not a one-size-fits-all, okay? You don't have to do this alone. There is help, and you can get help from an accountant that's doing you a good job. Now, I know that I can't help everyone that is in my world because I love the Canfield world, and there are hundreds of thousands of people. And so what I want people to know is I want people to know that they can follow this formula. They can create a program that supports them and their businesses. Now, I generally do this program on a 60-day basis with clients, and we spend 2 months together working out their expenses, their personal expenses, their business expenses, doing their tax planning, and getting them on solid foundations, okay? But what I found is that the people that I most want to help, the people in that 88% that are making less than $50,000 a year, it's a bit much for them to do the private program with me of 60 days. And plus, there's only one of me, and there's only so much I can do. And so I've created an online program, and it is a series of videos and workbook exercises and automated worksheets, and it goes through the same thing that I go through on my 60-day private program, which is a $2,400 commitment. And the one-on-one program has time with me, significant amount of time with me. You can do it yourself and follow through on the program that we're offering for $297. At the end of that program, you have a debriefing call with our team to make sure that you got what you needed out of that program. It's a series of videos and worksheets and workbooks, and you can use it to create a success plan that takes you where you want to go in your life, and then you will have financial freedom. You can find this program at roadmaptofinancialsuccess.com, and I appreciate you being here today. And I am going to stop the recording.